Hello everyone, so this video is going to be about ghosts and things of the paranormal, and I just want to warn anybody before I go any further to not watch this video if you don't believe in ghosts, if you don't like anything to do with the paranormal, because that is mainly what this video is going to be about. Since I can remember, I've always been interested in this stuff, and I just all of a sudden decided that I wanted to start making videos on it. I'm going to start off with my thoughts on Ouija boards. Now, I know that everybody thinks that they're like so bad and that if you play with one, then you're automatically going to get possessed by a demon. I do not believe this. I have played with Ouija boards many times and nothing bad has ever happened to me. I've never been possessed by a demon. I believe that it all has to do with your mindset. If you go into it with a positive mindset and you believe that nothing but good spirits are going to contact you, then I believe that that's what you're going to get. I believe that if you go into it mocking it, making fun of it, asking silly questions, then you can get something bad after you. But I feel like it all has to do with your mindset. But I personally do not find them bad unless you make them out to be. I like to consider myself a very open-minded person when it comes to this kind of thing. I see the world and the universe as two very big places, and I don't believe that we are the only living, breathing things here. It's just too big for there not to be something else out there. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment and I will try to answer you back in a video. But for right now, I'm just going to go ahead and get into experiences I've had with ghosts. So for those of you who don't know, I work at a haunted house here in West Virginia, and that is called the Haunted Barn. This past season, me and my friend were walking to our places, and our room usually stays dark. The only light that we really have in there are the strobes. So you can barely see anything, and when you do, it's just like a flash from the strobes. Well, I felt like somebody was walking behind me, all along thinking that it was my friend Sarah. I turned around to see her still standing in the doorway on the other side of the room, and I felt someone walking behind me. So I turned around and I seen a shadow person, and as soon as I looked at it, it disappeared. Heard that the barn is supposed to be really haunted, and I don't know the history behind the haunted barn, but I believe that it is haunted. That was enough validation right there for me. There was also another experience that I had in the haunted barn. There used to be this room. This room had bodies, like in body bags, hanging from the ceiling. And for me, this room was one of the creepiest rooms in there because it's always pitch dark and you never know if a person is really in there waiting to grab you. Well, me and my friend were walking through this room. She was shining her cell phone light, trying to find her way out of there. And next to the body bags, I seen an apparition of a face. We were the only two in that room. The body bags that are in there did not have faces on them. They were just plain bodies hanging in bags. One night, me and my parents were going grocery shopping at like 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I don't know why we decided that we wanted to go grocery shopping that late, but we did. So it was late and it was dark, and the street lights were coming through the windows of the car. Out of the corner of my eye, I seen a shadow person sitting beside me in the seat, right next to me. Kind of reminded me of the thing that was on Insidious. I don't know if any of you have seen Insidious, but if you have, the shadow thing that's like pointing its finger at the little boy, that's what it looked like, because it was pointing its finger up at my dad who was driving the car. When I looked around, it disappeared. There was one time when I was around 8 or 9, and it was a weekend, and it had just turned morning outside, and the sunlight was coming through my window. I always kept the door open in my room, and the room that I had, you could see the hallway wall. The sunlight was shining on the hallway wall. And in the sunlight, I could see a figure of a shadow person. And the longer I stared at this shadow person, the more it looked like it was moving towards me. I got freaked out being a little kid, and I pulled the sheet over my head. And through the sheet, I was still watching it. I could still see it walking towards me. And then it just disappeared. There was this one time back in the MySpace days when chain letters were like really popular. And there was this one chain letter that I don't remember exactly what chain letter it was, but I remembered that there was a girl in this chain letter. And if you didn't repost the chain letter, she was going to come to your bedside at night and gouge your eyes out. Or I personally don't believe in chain letters, and I never have, but I just find it really strange that this experience that I had happened around the same time I saw the chain letter. And I didn't repost the chain letter, and I went to bed that woke up just in the middle of the night for no reason. It was like something woke me up, and the power had went out, so it was pitch dark in my room. I looked over. There was a figure of a person standing right beside my bed, looking down at me, watching me sleep. It freaked me out, so I quickly closed my eyes and try not to put that much thought into it, because I was afraid of what was going to happen if I continued to stare at this thing. Me and my friend Nikki, when we were little kids, she would spend the night at my house all the time. And we were really obsessed with the whole Bloody Mary thing, you know, where you stare into a mirror and you say Bloody Mary 3 times. And I was standing in the bathroom alone by myself doing Bloody Mary. To go open the door, and my friend was holding the other side of the door, playing a prank on me, not letting me get out of the room. So after we figured out that that didn't work, we decided that we were going to sit in the middle of my bathtub, turn all the lights out, hold a flashlight over our faces, and tell scary ghost stories. So my friend's in the middle of this very scary, very intense ghost story, and she's holding the flashlight over her face. The flashlight had perfectly good batteries in it, and well, all of a sudden, the flashlight just flickers off. And I thought it was her playing another prank on me. And I was like, oh my god, turn it back on. What are you doing? And she's just like, it wasn't me, I swear. Then it comes back on. Now, I'm not saying that this was because of Bloody Mary, but it was really weird that it happened right after I had played Bloody Mary. As far as I know, there was nothing wrong with that flashlight. There was this one time I was sitting on my couch and I was home alone, and I was watching scary ghost shows on TV all day. And I was kind of dozing off. It was like something had woke me up. And I looked over, and standing close to me, but not too close to me, was a girl in a white gown dress type thing with long dark hair. She was standing over me like this. And when I looked over, I kind of like jumped because I wasn't expecting to see her there. And then she just disappeared. There was one experience that I had. It felt like I had just woken up. It was morning, it was daylight, and I don't know if I was dreaming or if I was awake and I was actually seeing this. I'm not sure. There was a figure standing in this mirror right beside my bed, right beside the doorway, and it was the Grim Reaper. That's what I like to call it. Everybody else calls him Death. But it's the person that stands in the big black cape, and they just have like a black hole where their face is supposed to be. Like, you don't see anything but a black cape. A person standing in a black cape. I don't know if this was a sign of something. Felt like I was wide awake. There was one time I woke up in the middle of the night and it was pitch dark in my room. And again, it was like something had woke me up. I looked over, and standing over me, watching me while I slept, was a silhouette that looked like God. It looked like Jesus. It was standing in a white robe with longish hair and a beard. and that's all I could see. I couldn't see any distinctive details. All I saw was a silhouette, but it legit looked like God. And I just turned around and went back off to sleep because it did not bother me. There was this one time, it was really late, and I was coming home, and there is this little wooded area before you get to my neighborhood, before you get to my house. It is very close to my house. It was like a rainy, gloomy, kind of dreary looking night. Out of the corner of my eye, I seen something. It didn't look like an animal. It sort of looked like a person crouched over, like kind of crouched over like this. All I saw was something white, and when it turned around, when we like got its attention, its eyes were like glowing, and all I saw was two glowing eyeballs. I know that there is this urban legend about this thing called the rake. I don't know if that thing is real or not, but that's what it sort of reminded me of, and I still don't know what that was. I've never seen it again. It was so weird. When I was a little kid, I had this tea set. Actually, I had a few tea sets. I would put them all together and play with them alone in my room. My mom told me that I used to tell her that I would play tea with a man that was covered in red stuff, which I'm assuming that red stuff was blood. I personally don't remember this, but I was 3 or 4 around the time, so that could be the reason why I was little. But one night we were playing with the Ouija board and that topic came up. Supposedly there was a railroad track where I live now, and this man worked on this railroad track, and he got killed. The reason why he played with me was because he said that I reminded him of his daughter, because at the time he died, he had a daughter that was the same age as I was. There is this paranormal team that investigated the haunted barn one time, and in this video that they made, because they made a video about it, they had a spirit box, and a little boy came up, and his name was David. My parents had seen this video, but I don't think they remembered the little boy's name. One night we were playing with the Ouija board, and we were asking for any of the spirits to come through from the haunted barn, and if they could, what their names were. The Ouija board spelled out David. And I got goosebumps, and I turned around and I looked at my mom because I wasn't thinking about it, and I knew that they didn't remember. It was just like, this is so cool, because that was everything that came to mind. There was probably a lot more, but everything that I tell you guys in this video is 100% lay my hand on the Bible true. I am not making any of this stuff up. I am telling you the truth. I would not lie about seeing any of this stuff. Expect more creepy, scary videos to do very soon. And also thumbs up for Annabelle, because I decided I was going to put her in the background with a light on her, so you are not seeing things. I put her there for a reason. I will see you guys next time.